All right, today is March 23rd, 2017. This is another episode of Just Casual Vlogs. Don't know what episode this is. I realized recently that I had an unreleased episode that was done 2 weeks ago, so I just posted that not too long ago. So that was a surprise. It was a good one though. But I just want to give an update. Today's a big day for me, or was. I finally released the Weldon Green Podcast, so that was super exciting. I've been super distracted all day. I came into work late because I was doing it and trying to do a lot of last minute things because the release just kind of happened. I got to go, I talked to Weldon. We had a few things that we wanted to add to the podcast still, the episodes. We had more ads we needed to fit in for his stuff because there's a Mac program that he has. There's runtimegg.gg, which is like the food supplement stuff. You have leaguecoaching.gg, which is his League of Legends coaching stuff, and then you have a fourth one, his newsletters, signing up for his newsletter. So there's a lot of stuff to put in that I wasn't really accounting for because we first agreed it was just the Mac program. That's what we were first just thinking. So because of that, I just put one ad. Actually, in the first two episodes, I think, the ad was in the middle of the Ask Weldon segment. But now, on episode 3 and 4, I was just gonna put the Mac advertisement between the two segments. We have the Ask Weldon Show segment, and then you have the Weldon Journey segment. At least for now, we'll see how that changes. We're keeping it open and flexible just in case we want to, add different stuff. But with that, I gotta think about where to put those advertisements or those plugs into the future episodes because there's a lot and I don't want it to be disruptive. So I gotta be creative about it. I think, maybe I won't put all 4 at once. Maybe when it's really relevant, in one of them, we talk a lot about, one of the future episodes, we talk a lot about learning. And there's a lot of good plugs for leaguecoaching.gg in there. So that should be easy. And of course, Mac is just super relevant all the time. So maybe those will be the two in-episode plugs that kind of just fit in really well. And they'll be 30 seconds really quick so they're not disruptive. And they feel native. But then maybe the tools, the newsletter / tools, plus what else do we have there? The runtime.gg. That might have to go beginning and the end of the episode where it kind of works. Yeah, I think that's what I'll have to do. Or maybe those two at the end. I realized that in these latest episodes, by the time I got to the end of the podcast, I didn't think about the Mac program anymore. So there needs to be a reminder of probably all the advertisements at the end. That's what I'm thinking right now. But anyway, so the release happened. That's super, super exciting. I was super distracted all day because I just kept thinking about it. And Weldon was like, oh, so how do we make these into shareable videos, And I've been starting to explore that with Lola, which we've been using Clamors, which are 24-second clips. Then there's also wave.video, WAVVE.video. But that's a paid thing, which I don't know if I like how it looks, but I haven't really experimented with that yet. And then I know you can put a caption on it, but it's not closed captioning, so I'm not sure. I might actually just learn how to do some video editing so I can just do that myself, because that might be the easiest way to get exactly what I want. So it's shareable on Snapchat, shareable on YouTube, shareable on Instagram, Twitter, everything. Make it really nice and easy. Maybe make it a square video. So because of that, I was sitting at my desk and looking up apps and playing with some apps, which was fun. But yeah, super distracting. I just kept thinking about the podcast and okay, what do we do? What's the schedule? Because we have 2 podcasts basically recorded, so we need to compile them all together and add the sound effects and add the music, and I probably have to rewrite some ads and figure out how they go into there. So I feel like on my part, maybe another hour and a half each. So that's basically 3 days of work, maybe 2 days of work. And then I'm working on episodes, so it's 3 and 4. So I'm working on episode 5 right now. I don't know if I have enough clips for it yet. I might just put them together and listen to it and see how it sounds and figure out how to organize it. So that's episode 5. But I might actually, I've been handing off a lot of the video editing stuff or audio editing stuff to my editor, Sam T. And I'm wondering if maybe I need to do some on my own as well. I thought maybe my time is more valuable doing the creative process, but I also I want to learn how to audio edit proficiently. And in addition to that, some of my ideas don't come across well in notes because we don't really get to talk much about things. So it's a lot of instruction was given through notes and text. So I kind of need to put a rough draft together, and then I think what's going to happen is that he sends me a rough draft with all the stem files, which is each track, and then from there I can do some micro edits and play with music or replace music or make the music a little longer, those kind of things. I think that's what I need to do. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do. We haven't tested that yet. We will be testing that probably episode 3, 4. Yeah, I think that's right. So, anyways, with the release of the podcast, since we just did it this morning, iTunes actually has to. I want to talk a little bit about what are my next steps for the podcast. So right now, Weldon submitted through iTunes. It's really awkward because I could do it myself really quickly, but I need his iTunes ID, I need his Gmail account, I need all this stuff that I could put it on my own account, but I want to make sure he feels comfortable. I can't just run away and steal it or keep it hostage. He has it because I don't think I can even transfer it. I don't think so. So I want to make sure that he owns it. So that means that he actually has to do work. And today was game day for him. G2 won. Congrats, G2. Congrats, Weldon. They're still undefeated, so that's super exciting. Spoiler, my bad. Well, it's not a spoiler. This will probably come out later than you watch it anyway. And if you haven't watched it by this time this video comes out, then that's something on you. Anyways, so I have a list of things he needs to submit it to iTunes, which he's done. We need to submit it to Google Play Music. We need to submit it to Stitcher, TuneIn, I guess. I don't know what that is, but that was suggested as well in in their FAQ, SoundCloud's FAQs. I've never used SoundCloud, so I was making banners and stuff. So the banner on the SoundCloud page, that's me doing that, and the podcast artwork, which we don't know if we're gonna keep, but I think it looks really, really cool, really fresh, really classy. I think that's really cool. It's black and white, but I think it looks nice. It would be cool to have a splash of color, but I don't know. It's good. I think it's good, but that's up to Weldon. What else do we gotta do? So he needs to submit all those, and that's gonna take a while because he's busy. But the iTunes one is the biggest one. Once iTunes gets out, unfortunately Stitcher, maybe I can just do it on Stitcher. I'm not sure. He probably doesn't have a Stitcher account, so maybe I just need to make him an account. I don't know. We'll talk about that. It's hard to communicate with Weldon because he's so busy, and he's always flying back and forth, and he just has a lot of stuff on his plate. So I've learned a lot to just do things independently and just make decisions independently, and kind of cross my fingers that it's okay. And if not, and it adds more work, that's fine. But if I do it right, then it doesn't add more work because I don't have to redo it. So that's okay. And I've been learning a lot because I'm providing something for someone else, and now I'm having other people provide for me. So understanding the pitfalls of oh, this is so annoying when they don't do this or they do this. Now I also get both sides of that as the boss or the employee, I guess. So that's been helpful. It's been really giving me good well-roundedness and viewpoints and stuff like that. What else do I have to do with the podcast? Put out the episodes. I gotta start brainstorming. I don't know how many Ask Weldon segments are gonna be. I feel like I'm gonna have a hard time extending it past 10 episodes or 12 episodes, because the interesting thing about this is that if you watch a lot of Weldon's content, you realize that a lot of the answers are repeated. And that doesn't take a value away from the answers, because it comes down to like mindfulness, acceptance, and commitment. Like those basic things of the Mac program, right? And it really comes down to a lot of those three things. So a lot of that is included, like gratefulness and gratitude, or I should say gratitude, understanding your goals. So there's only like a few really major topics that he discusses, and the answer is the same. So if I say like, a lot of the things require mindfulness. Oh, how do I learn better? Mindfulness. How do I focus better? Mindfulness. How do I train better? Mindfulness. Well, how do I deal with tilt? Mindfulness. Like, it's a lot of that is the same. Answers are the same. However, it branches out a little more into specific things. Like, even though it's mindfulness, I can give you a tip for your specific problem that you're asking, and that's where the value comes in, where you get the specific answers and specific interactions with these people or these problems. Otherwise, it's summarized. If you can actually do the Mac program, which I've started, I've been doing it slow because I've been so busy, but I've started when I found some free time and did some mindfulness training, which has been pretty good. What was I saying? Oh yeah, once you do it, like, you can answer all the questions you need with probably the Mac program. I haven't finished it, but I'm guessing you can. But it's talking about those little things or those reminders, because you're not the expert in it. Even though you take the Mac program, you're gonna need to be reminded by experts or someone that knows what they're doing. You know, like, oh, why is this? Oh, the mindfulness. That's right. So how do I get mindfulness in this scenario? Oh, that's an interesting scenario. This is how you do it, and that's what Ask Weldon is for. So after about like 8 episodes, 10 episodes, 12 episodes, I think the Ask Weldon segment, it has to be a lot different than what it is right now. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I have to be a little creative, because I like the high production value. I got some feedback already for people that listen to it about they enjoy the production of it, the quality of the podcast, and the time put in. So what do I do then? How do I... Because right now the Ask Weldon show on YouTube is, he looks up questions that have been given to him, and then he answers them off the cuff. And Weldon knows his stuff so well, and he articulates very well, and he communicates very well, that he doesn't really need to prepare much for the questions. It's my assumption. I actually don't know, but I feel like he just like looks at the questions, maybe picks them out and has an idea, and then he just goes. He doesn't write a script. I don't think he does bullet points, and I feel confident saying that because I've heard him speak. I've talked to him, and he's just good off the cuff. So I could just copy that and just put it into the podcast, but I don't like that idea. And depending on how busy he is, he's not very regular with his content, or he's regular until like the season starts or playoffs start or something like that, right? So that complicates things, because then at a point then there'll be a hiatus in the podcast. So I got to figure this out, how to... I don't know. I gotta be creative how to make the Ask Weldon segment a little different. And that's why we put segments, and that's why I didn't want to just put one segment. I wanted to put multiple segments, like 2, so that we can switch them in and out. Not every episode will have an Ask Weldon segment, or we'll have a Weldon Journey segment. Although Weldon Journey is probably a good one. Who knows? Maybe it'll be like the Sam Journey. Actually, probably not. It's a Weldon Green podcast, so probably not. Either way, that's going to be a challenge. If you guys have any suggestions, put them in the comments. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. By the way, my huge goal for YouTube is to get 100 subscribers, not because I want 100 subscribers. It's because I want to change my username. Whenever I have to link to my YouTube, it says youtube.com/user/roaringasian. I made that in and it's like the AZN spelling. Kind of embarrassing now being 27. But I made that in like middle school, so yeah, it's I need 100 subscribers to change that. YouTube won't let me change that. So please help me. I'm begging you guys to help me with that, because it's extremely embarrassing. It's extremely embarrassing. Just 100. Not that big of a number, right? I could probably get that from my family. Probably not. Anyway, I'm home now. That's another episode of the Just Casual Vlogs. Peace out, guys.